Arsenal have made it 2 wins out of 2 in a difficult game away at Crystal Palace. The Gunners dealt with the pressure. From Eddie Nketiah's electric performance to the growth of Declan Rice, Mikel Arteta's super subs, and Arsenal's mental resilience. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and I know you guys are doing sensational because Arsenal have made it 6 points out of 6. So as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 200,000 subscribers. But starting off with the defensive masterclass. This game was always going to be difficult. Selhurst Park under the lights. Defensively, Arsenal had to be on point, and that's where you had the performance of William Saliba. On the field, he had the most touches, the most clearances, and the most interceptions. A 7.8 overall rating, 8 clearances, 2 interceptions, 1 last man challenge, 1 ground duel 1 and 2 out of 2 in the air, 61 accurate passes and 94% passing accuracy and 5 accurate long balls. Saliba plays on an aura. Fans are naturally going to be more confident when he's on the field. That is because he has elite recovery pace. Here is the prime example. Saliba makes a slight little error. Palace are nearly in behind, but look at the speed on recovery. A perfectly timed last man challenge. Playing in a slightly different role as a central centre back, Saliba is given more responsibility, and that is because Mikel Arteta trusts him. Understanding that Saliba has the composure on the ball, always reliable in the build-up phase. Think about those last 10 minutes, Arsenal's goal under siege. Every time the ball entered the box, there was William Saliba. A reminder that he also excels in the toughest moments. We also need to talk about Ben White. In this game, it was a 7.3 rating, 4 clearances, 2 block shots, 76 touches, 61 accurate passes. Have a look at this guy's heat map. Not only was he playing as a centre back, but also moving forwards at times like a right back. There's a reason why this guy always starts with Mikel Arteta. Ben White is one of the most reliable Arsenal players. Always a 7 or 8 out of 10 performance. Maybe it's down to his calm persona, but we are seeing a consistent evolution of Ben White's game. How often do you see a player start as a centre back, but also at times impacting in the final third? Ben White is fantastic at learning, and that is why Mikel Arteta trusts him so highly. Regardless of the role and the position, White has the ability to make it work. Arsenal have continued their elite defensive form away from home. That is now 11 clean sheets away from home since the start of last season, the most in the league, even more than Man City. Our Ramsdale excellent in goal once again. You can see the impact of David Raya. We are seeing a more focused Ramsdale, less and less errors and more composure on the ball. Then you had the performance of Thomas Partey, a surprise selection starting as the inverted right back. Still no room for Gabriel Magalhaes. There was a lot of pressure going into this game. How are Arsenal going to balance the team? Thomas Partey's performance did all the talking. A 7.9 overall rating, a heat map all over the right hand side, 1 clearance, 1 interception and 3 tackles, 6 out of 7 ground duels, 50 accurate passes, 1 key pass, 4 accurate long balls, as well as 2 accurate crosses. Thomas Partey completely locked off the right hand side. No room for Crystal Palace's wide forward to cause any issues. Arsenal are trying to become even more attacking. When you have the likes of Odegaard and Havertz in the same team, Arteta is using Rice and Partey to balance that. What Partey showed in this game was an ability to defend that wide, winning his 1v1 duels with such conviction. Ultimately, this gives Arsenal even more control. But what exactly is happening with Gabriel Magalhaes? Here he was after the game with the captain's armband, shaking hands with Mikel Arteta. As Fabrizio Romano says, Gabriel Magalhaes is not for sale as reported yesterday. Despite links to Saudi side Al-Ittihad, Arteta confirms there's nothing at all. It's just about the games and what we were expecting. Trust me, Gabriel is going to play a lot of games. Moving on to the second thing, Arteta's super subs. For most of this game, Arsenal had a lot of control. As the XG shows, it was a deserved win. Crystal Palace 0.74, Arsenal's 2.02. By using Thomas Partey as the inverted right back alongside Declan Rice, Arsenal were given the perfect base. 2 players that have fantastic pass selection. They understand when to go short and when to go long. Arsenal were in cruise control. Our last 2 games have shown me a change in Arteta's philosophy. Arsenal are becoming far more methodical. They are trying to control games like Man City. The reason behind that is all about sustainability. Mikel Arteta wants to have a style of football that may not always be as entertaining, but it's far more sustainable in terms of winning games of football. Understanding that keeping the ball is the best way to defend, because if the opposition doesn't have the ball, how are they going to score? But that's where I want to see Arsenal become even more decisive. With the quality that we have going forwards, I need to see more. The overall stats though are a bit different. It shows that Arsenal had 53% possession, 506 passes, 59 final third entries and a 2.4 expected threat created. As the field tilt shows, they were in full control up until the 70th minute, and that's where the game changed. A second yellow card for Takehiro Tomiyasu. Arsenal received their first red card in over a season. The last time it happened was Rob Holding in the North London derby. The first yellow card is where it gets very annoying. Tomiyasu being booked for time wasting. despite only holding the ball for 8 seconds. And the second yellow card is where I get even more annoyed. Not only is it very soft, but we also see a bit of inconsistency. You think back before the Arsenal goal, Jordan Ayew already on the booking fouls Bukayo Saka in a more blatant yellow card, yet the referee chose to completely ignore that. As Mikel Arteta says after the game, I prefer not to make comments because for me it is so obvious. Arsenal were down to 10 men and that's where they had to face a different problem. Crystal Palace had Arsenal pinned back. They were sustaining the pressure and Arsenal was struggling. Mikel Arteta turned to his bench. On came Jorginho, Zinchenko, Kiwior and Gabriel, and all 4 of those subs maintained a 100% passing accuracy after coming on. The perfect subs to calm things down. The prime example being right towards the end of the game. Zinchenko, Havertz, Jorginho and Rice on the left hand side, playing around with the ball like they're playing at school. It was very much Man City-esque. The amount of times that we've seen them hold the ball in the corners. This will be very important, especially in the Champions League. In this game, Arsenal faced adversity. They were put in a very tough moment, but Mikel Arteta was able to get us over the line, turning to his very effective deep block. It shows that Arsenal have different ways of winning. Another evolution in Arsenal's step of becoming an even more complete team. Moving on to the third thing, Arsenal's midfield dominance. In this game, Arsenal clearly won the midfield battle. The prime example being the captain Martin Odegaard. A 7.4 overall rating, in 89 minutes there was 1 goal scored, 48 touches, 32 accurate passes, 1 key pass, as well as 4 ground duels won. A growing influence in the game, Odegaard excels away from home. In fact, since the start of last season, that is now 10 away goals for Martin Odegaard, only bettered by Erling Haaland. There was of course a bit of a surprise though, for him to take the Arsenal penalty over Bukayo Saka. Mikel Arteta says that he had no clue that Odegaard would take the penalty, saying that it was a decision taken by the players on the pitch. I can totally understand the logic behind it. Odegaard has very clean ball striking, as well as decent accuracy. Every time he's taken an Arsenal penalty, he's always scored. That's why I think Bukayo Saka understood. With this game being so important and the game tied at 0-0, having missed 2 recent penalties, it was no time to take any risks. We also need to talk about the performance of Kai Havertz. 24 accurate passes, 2 chances created, a 90% passing accuracy, 39 touches, 4 passes into the final third, 3 recoveries. Kai Havertz has now won more duels than any other player on the pitch, against Nottingham Forest and against Crystal Palace. 16 duels in total. This completely dispels the myth that Havertz is not a hard worker. It's why Mikel Arteta trusts him in this number 8 role. Havertz has got fantastic off-the-ball awareness. With very long legs, he's always able to make a tackle, using his body to his advantage. Think about the amount of times he makes very good tactical fouls, and always seems to avoid a yellow card. It's these little cute things to why Mikel Arteta has started him every time he's been available. The next step has to be his on-the-ball effect. A key part of that is going to be the rest of the Arsenal players. Havertz has got fantastic movement. The more that he grows in confidence and starts to demand that ball, the other Arsenal players need to look for him. Then you had the Arsenal man of the match, a Declan Rice masterclass. This guy's heat map is insane. From the left to the right hand side, this guy was all over the pitch. A 7.3 overall rating, with 68 touches, 55 accurate passes and 90% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, 3 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created. Rice was outstanding defensively. A natural understanding of where to be. We are seeing a growth in Declan Rice. The amount of times that you could see in this game him commanding other Arsenal players. Rice is now taking more responsibility. Having been the captain of West Ham, Rice has always been a natural leader. On the ball, he is definitely getting better. In this game, a 0.23 expected assist, 18 passes completed in the final third, 33 passes completed in the opposition half, 8 passes forward under pressure, as well as 11.6 kilometers covered. We are seeing all of the positive signs. In every single game Rice plays, there seems to be a clear improvement. We are seeing the little steps of him trying to drive with the ball. As Mikel Arteta says after the game, I thought he was fantastic today. He really dominated the game. We asked him to do something new. He's done it in a different club, but we asked him to do it in a different way. Playing in a double pivot alongside Thomas Partey, Rice is starting to excel. Look at his post-match celebrations, a sign of a player enjoying his time at Arsenal. Moving on to the fourth thing, Electric Eddie. This was an all-action Eddie Nketiah performance. A 6.6 overall rating. A 0.75 XG, with 2 shots off target, 1 shot block, 2 successful dribbles, 1 time hit the post, 1 penalty won, 2 big chances missed, 9 accurate passes, 2 key passes, and 5 ground duels won. He could have easily scored 2 goals, but more importantly, Nketiah was causing chaos. Up against Anderson and Guehi, he was turning them inside and out. He's definitely evolving his dribbling ability, very similar at times to Gabriel Jesus. What stands out to me in his 2 missed chances, his shot selection. The first one is very unlucky. Nketiah does everything perfect until the final action, and even then he nearly scores. Even in terms of the second one, It could have easily ended up in the back of the net had Nketiah put a little bit less on the ball. The amount of chances that he's able to create for himself is definitely a standout attribute. Nketiah offers so much of what you want from a number 9. There's been clear improvements in his hold-up play, but a striker's job is to score goals, and that's where fans are going to judge him. Arsenal are up against a super team in Man City who have a robot up front. If we want to win a title this year, we need to become more ruthless. What did you guys make of Nketiah's performance? You also have to talk about Bukayo Saka. Another fantastic performance out wide, a 7.8 overall rating. With 1 successful dribble, 73 touches, 35 accurate passes, 2 key passes, 1 big chance created and 7 ground balls won. Saka's ability to drive Arsenal forwards on the right hand side and progress the ball is so unique. He is the Arsenal outlet, at times our hold-up player. I don't think people understand how strong and powerful he is. Think about how he holds off Jordan Ayew to win the free kick leading up to the Arsenal penalty. Saka is becoming closer and closer to becoming unplayable. Look at his last 3 performances, all above 7.5 ratings. This year Saka is trying to prove a point, that he is up there with the very best players in this league. Teams are now treating Saka differently, with 3 or 4 players marking him at times. It's a sign of respect. The opposition teams are now aware. You give Bukayo Saka time and space and he is going to punish you. Moving on to the 5th thing, Arsenal's mental resilience. Arsenal have broken a curse under Mikel Arteta, with this becoming our first victory on a Monday night away from home since Mikel Arteta joined. It was not an easy win, one we had to fight for. Backs against the wall, Palace applying the pressure. But as Mikel Arteta says after the game, I love to win games like this. A sign of how far this Arsenal team has come. An ability to go into tough moments and come out unscathed. Imagine this game was a few years ago. Selhurst Park under the lights with only 10 men, but where the old Arsenal teams would have collapsed. This team has a different backbone. Think about the players that Mikel Arteta was able to introduce. The experience of Jorginho and Zinchenko, the defensive ability of Gabriel and Kivior, the prime example of the evolution of the Arsenal squad depth. In this game, Arsenal faced the problem of playing with 10 men, one they had not experienced for an entire year, but they were able to pass the test. Yet another London derby victory. Since the start of last year, Arsenal have now had 13 London derbies, 11 victories, 2 draws and 0 losses. We have now become the kings of London. As things stands, we are 3rd in the Premier League behind Man City and Brighton, one of only 3 teams to have maximum points after 2 games. Here were the Arsenal players after the game in the dressing room celebrating, holding up a Urian Timber shirt. The craziest thing is that I don't think Arsenal are anywhere near their best. Arteta is still experimenting and learning about his team. The difference is that our floor is so high. Even if we're not performing at our best, our system allows us to win games of football. This is Mikel Arteta learning. In last year's first half of the season, Arsenal peaked too soon. 50 points in the first 19 games. Now Mikel Arteta is doing it differently. Slowly getting his team into his groove, getting the wins on the board in this early season. Then as we approach the most important parts of the season, that's where I think we'll see the true potential of his Arsenal team. Next up for Arsenal is a game against Fulham at the Emirates Stadium, but the transfer window is still open and there are still plenty of rumours. The latest being following Balogun to Chelsea, doubts over the future of Gabriel and potential incomings, with just over a week left of the window. Things are about to get interesting. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1, 6 points out of 6, the perfect start to the season, and now we turn to the transfer window. Arsenal, what do you have in store? We're going to find out. So as per, I'll see you next time. Take care and in a bit.